it's good to be here for another Fair Game Laguna. Tom Johnson, along with our mayor, Sue Kempf. Good to see you, Sue.
Good to see you, Tom. What are the questions for today?
Well, I thought, first of all, we should touch on the open house. Big thing last night at the fire department, with the fire department. Talk about what went on there and, really gave the residents a chance to interact.
That's right. So we had it yesterday at the Laguna Beach Community and Recreation Center. And we had fire trucks down there. We had goats down there. We had the CERT team. It was a nice event. A lot of residents got a chance to talk to the firefighters and get some of their questions answered, which you don't, in the course of a day, you don't usually get a chance to talk to the firefighters for any length of time. You usually wave at them, good morning, thanks for everything, and that kind of thing. But it was good. A lot of interaction with the fire department. We got to see they have some offices down there. Also, we got a tour, so that Emergency Operations Center is going to go there permanently. Right now, what we do is when we have an emergency, we kind of turn our lunchroom into the EOC, and that's not the way to do it. Right. So we're going to have a permanent one down there. It's going to be nice. So we talked about the plans for that. There were some kids there. They got to see the goats, which was, fascinating for them. And actually, I love seeing them too.
Kids would rather see the goats than the firefighters. Let's be honest.
Well, they love the truck and they love the goats.
That's right.
Predictably, it was great. It was a good event, and it was, pretty well attended, and it was fun for me to talk to the fire department guys too. I don't get to talk to them that often.
Well, I think it's good when we, as a community, there are more and more coffees with the police, the open house with fire. I think those kind of things are important to get people to talk to our first responders in casual settings. Not just in response to, oh, I'm having a problem in my house with such and such.
Yeah,
so those are good efforts.
That's right. That's right.
And their brethren down on the beachfront had some big news this week with Kai Bond getting promoted. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Kai Bond is a great guy. He's a very, very natural choice. He's been, the assistant to our retiring police chief Marine Safety Chief Kevin Snow for a long time. He's well known in the community. His mom even lives here, but he's just one of those guys. He's a very likable guy. He's kind of down to business. He's hardworking, very conscientious, great choice, fits in well kind of with the community and the culture of Laguna Beach. So I think it's kind of a no-brainer, but also a great choice.
Well, I think it's good when you can have somebody step down after, 40 years and go right into the department and find that replacement. Good stuff.
Good stuff.
So our police department, sticking with public safety, we get letters on occasion here at Stu News, and people, right or wrong, they write these letters and they'll say things like, how come the police department doesn't do anything about loud vehicle noise? And that's simply not the case. I mean, I've talked to the chief before. I know how engaged they are in the whole South Orange County effort. And this past weekend, they went out and led an effort that was highly successful.
That's right. So multi-agency effort to catch people, primarily with loud vehicle noise, but it was Newport, Huntington, Costa Mesa, Santa Ana, Orange, Sheriff's Department, and the Bureau of Automotive Repair all participated. And they had, I think, almost 200 vehicles stopped, 67 citations for loud vehicle noise, and also for speeding, a variety of things. But there's a lot of activity around loud vehicle noise. Every city's having this problem. One of the issues that we have now is based in the law. So in 2027, we'll have some more teeth in this loud vehicle noise ordinance. But for now, all we can do is cite. They can pay a ticket, but they don't have to fix anything. But in the future, starting in 2027, if you get cited, you have to go to a facility that's sponsored by the Bureau of Automotive Repair, and you have to remediate whatever that noise equipment that you have. Otherwise, you can't get your registration. So in other words, from a systems point of view, that will tag your registration. So you can't get your registration until you remediate your car. So that's coming. Unfortunately, it's slow. And I think one of the reasons it's slow through the legislature is the DMV had to modernize their system so they could do that, guess it takes 3 years. I don't know, but it's not like we're not working on it. There's just a lot of it.
Yeah. A lot of people don't associate DMV with quick anyway. So different subject, different day.
Right.
Tuesday night, city council meeting. Big discussion on revenues, which as any city today, with growing salaries, with growing costs just to do business, whether it's, repairs in town, whether it's consultants to get things done, you need additional revenue. You guys on the council took a look at several different things, TOT tax primarily, and business licenses. And I thought you had a real hearty discussion. I thought the outcome, I mean, there was definitely a vocal group there. But I think sometimes as a council member, you have to decide, is that is that vocal group representative of the whole community as a whole? And when you're determining this, but I thought you handled it well. Why don't you talk about what the issues were and how you got to your decision?
Right, so we had a ballot measure proposition put together for us to consider at the council. And these are not easy things to put together. So Bob Whalen and Mark Orgel were working on this for probably a good 6 months. And it takes a long time because you have to think, well, you have to look at all the range of things you can raise revenue. It's almost everything has to go to the ballot. I mean, almost everything. I think everything. And so you like pick and choose, like what would make sense to do this? What would our residents think about that? So you get professional organization, do some polling, try to figure out how to ask the right questions so you get the right feedback, go back and tweak based on that input, do some financial analysis. So it takes a while. So by the time it comes to us, for discussion, it was, our council meeting on Tuesday, and it has to go to the city clerk, and then it goes off to the whole election process after that. So, that in that way, it doesn't give us, even though we had one community meeting, we didn't have all the detail that we needed to present there. It was like, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? So we didn't have, a lot of time to talk to, like, for example, the bars and restaurants, because there's two parts, the TOT. So do we want to tax the hotels? So we're already at 12%, that would put us at 13. This is the bed tax. We get $21 million now as it is from the hotels. And I think, some of the hotels are upgrading. You'll see the Pacific Edge is going to do a big upgrade, Surf and Sands in the midst of it. And there's some other hotels, the one over in the Alicia shopping center is doing it. So we're going to get more TOT tax in the future, because as these hotels get remodeled, the average daily rate gets higher and we get higher bed tax. So we decided as a council not to do that right now. So we looked at the gross receipts and business license tax, and that was the preponderance of the discussion was focused on, should we tax bars and restaurants, and to try to get some revenue from them. And so 3 of us voted against that, and I can speak for myself. So one thing is, we didn't get a lot of time because of compressed schedule, and that is not a knock on anybody. That is just how these things work. I mean, they take way longer than you think they would, mostly because analysis. But anyway, so I kind of said, well, first of all, we didn't give the bars and restaurants just found out about it. So, and some of these people live in town and operate a restaurant. So, you always want to give them a time to respond. So that's number one. The second thing is, like I talked to a number of the restaurants, and when you ask, like, what is the composition of your customer base? They'll say, like, well, the preponderance of our customers from September until June are 70% of those customers are residents. And then it flips in the summer, 30% residents, 70% visitors. So my thing is, first of all, we're in an inflationary environment where everything costs more. And people think there's an assertion that these restaurants are making a lot of money. Yeah, their revenues are up because they had to raise their prices, just like going to the grocery store. We all see it. Their labor costs are really high now. Their cost of goods are high, of course, their rent. And so it's not an easy business to be in. So I just think, and also I think you're going to put a line item at the bottom of a customer's tab where it says like city tax, whatever, 1%, 2%, 3%. That's just another thing that customers have to pay for. And so if you talk about who is paying you know, and who's going to the restaurants and who's paying, you know, who's paying the bills for these things. You know, I don't want to put remediating the cost of visitors on the back of some residents. I just don't think that's fair. The best way to get at visitors is to either do the TOT tax, which we may do at some point, or to do some more robust parking and parking management, because you can get some pretty good money. Now, not the kind of money that we're talking about to do, you know, infrastructure stuff, but it's something that needs to be addressed. Now, so the way it ended up is we took no action, so nothing's going on the ballot, but Councilmember Orgill and Whalen are going to continue looking into this and thinking about ways to, you know, raise revenue, and kind of as a ancillary process. Councilmember Orgill and I are going to be working on visitor impacts and how best to address those. And I've been talking to the city manager about that. So we're going to work on that. That has a lot of implications and things that we could do. Now, having said that, we're going to continue to get a lot of visitors as the temperature increases and there's more and more people. But so anyway, that's kind of a recap from my perspective.
Great. Visitors and Laguna Beach, unfortunately for residents, are kind of together. People want to go to the beach, and Laguna Beach has great beaches. So
Yep.
it's kind of something you're stuck with. I appreciate you taking the time, and we'll catch up with you next week.
Okay, you got it, Tom. Thanks so much.
Okay. Fair game, Laguna. We're out.